everyone, my name is Sarah Lipkowitz. I'm a real estate agent based in Montgomery County, Maryland. I specialize in both residential and equestrian properties, and today I wanted to make a video about the pros and cons of home ownership. As a real estate agent, I think it's really important for us to recognize that home ownership isn't for everyone all the time. It's a great goal to aim for. Real estate on the whole is an excellent investment. However, there are some drawbacks to home ownership, and I do want to talk a little bit about that today. There are some really substantial upfront costs to home ownership. I think most people are pretty well prepared for that down payment, but there are things like home inspections that will be a few $100s out of pocket before you've even closed on the home. The earnest money deposit, which is a few $1,000s usually that you submit with your offer, and when the contract is ratified, it will be held in escrow by the title company until settlement, at which point it will be put towards the purchase. If something were to fall through with the contract, in many instances you would get that money back. However, there are some circumstances in which a seller may be able to lay claim to it and keep it. So that's another thing you really need to be on the lookout for, and you really need to, have an agent who understands the contract. Lastly, you have to consider closing costs. Closing costs can amount to 2 to 5% of the purchase price, so that's a really big out-of-pocket expense at settlement. Now, it is quite common for sellers to offer a seller subsidy for closing costs to cover some or all of the closing costs for the buyer. However, that's negotiable, so you need to negotiate that on the front end. And again, I think it's just really important for buyers to budget for more than that down payment. When you own a home, maintenance and repair becomes your problem and your out-of-pocket expense in a way that it wasn't when you were a tenant. And I think most people know this, but again, I think it's very important for buyers to be aware of this on the front end because you need to budget for it. As an agent, I want to know what my client's budget is, not just for the purchase itself, but also for after the fact, because it affects what types of properties we're going to be looking at. I think for the vast majority of buyers, a fixer-upper is probably not the right call. I think, spending a little bit more to get a home that's more updated, that's been better maintained, is probably the right answer, because it's very easy to end up spending a lot of money in maintenance and repairs once you start fixing something up and finding more problems. I definitely stand by what I said about real estate being a pretty good investment on the whole. However, there is an element of illiquidity to it. It's not like stocks where you can dump them as you need to. It's going to take some time to offload a home. Even if you're in a neighborhood where things are going very quickly, you've got to get it ready, put it on the market, and even if it goes under contract within a day, in most instances, you're looking at about 30 days until closing. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can talk a little bit about the benefits of buying a home, and there are a few. Firstly, equity. When you rent a home, you pay that monthly cost, and when you leave with yourself and your stuff. When you own a home, you stand a much better chance of walking away with a profit. Property values tend to appreciate over time, and then any work you put into the property can also increase the value. So when you move out of that home and sell, you may actually turn a profit at the end of the day. Homeowners get a federal tax credit, so you still have to pay property taxes when you own a home. However, a lot of homeowners feel it's worth it because you get that tax credit and you're building equity. The last benefit of home ownership that I want to talk about today is fixed rates. When you rent can increase and you can't do much about it. When you own a home and you've taken on a mortgage, you will know exactly what you will be paying every month for the length of that loan, and I think a lot of people feel secure in that. So, I feel that's a pretty big benefit of owning your own home. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sarah Lipkowitz. I'm a real estate agent based in Montgomery County, Maryland. I specialize in both residential and equestrian properties in Maryland and Virginia.